Hello and happy, beautiful day to you. Today, I want to talk about a few key things you can do to help keep your mind in a positive place, even during stressful times. And, so often people will ask that very thing. How do you do that? And what are the key things that you need to do? Because of course, some of the messages that come in, people will send a message, that maybe their mother's going through a hard time, or there's situations in life that are really stressful or in the world, and they feel that, and they end up getting pulled down into it. And when you stop and think about it for a moment, of course, the mind gets stuck in it if we're not careful. If you think about how the mind works, our minds pick up information the more we immerse ourselves. And this is what I mean, is that, I don't know how to speak French. A couple words, but I don't really know how to speak French. However, if I immersed myself into speaking French, I could learn fairly quickly, right? And so when we immerse ourselves in something, our brains can learn it faster and faster and faster. And so often, unfortunately, that can work with emotions as well, where something comes up in life where a person is stressed or there's a stressful period of time and a person ends up getting immersed into that negativity, immersed into that topic, and then it's going in their mind over and over and over. And what they don't realize is that it's programming their mind for more and more negativity and more negativity, and they start getting more used to it. Just like if I, moved it or immersed myself into French and started speaking it and started thinking at it and started talking to people about it and started practicing it and repeating it, my mind would pick it up. I would learn it very fast. And so similarly, if somebody's mind is speaking in the negative and they're talking about what's happening and whatnot, and they're getting that sucked in, so often it can throw them off from the goals that they're really wanting, the happiness, and it can create a feeling of depression or stuckness, and people end up there without even realizing it. And, and kind of like, during my own injury, I ended up in a really bad place, and it wasn't consciously aware of it happening. It can happen. And so my point is no matter where you are, whether you're somebody who's really, really happy and having a great life and just wanting to make sure that it stays that way, or if you're somebody who's, at a really bad spot and really needing to make that change, there are key things that you can do, a few simple key things that you can do to help your mind stay in the positive. Now, one thing is really having something that you're looking forward to and you're excited about and obsessed about, if you will, in a positive way. For me, going through my injury, it was healing. I just was so obsessed, like I just needed to heal, and but in a good way, because I had a healthy relationship with it, but I was so determined and I could see how it was possible, but the more I could see that it was possible, the more I saw research on the power of the mind and multiple personality disorder and whatnot, but the more I saw evidence that it was possible, then the more I got excited. So my point is that a lot of times what can happen is this, is if somebody puts in a little bit of effort towards something, just a little bit of effort towards something, they're not going to see that many results depending upon whatever that goal is. A little bit of effort or whatnot, they may not see many results. And then if they're not seeing much results in something, it doesn't really fuel them, if you will. But what happens is if we want something and we're really going for it and we're putting our effort towards it in a positive way, with a positive, really focused on it, focused on something we want, and we're putting effort towards it in a positive way, what can happen is we can start seeing signs or awareness or progress. And that, what does it do? It fuels you. It makes you want to do more and more and more. And so that's why I say obsessed. Like even during my injury, continuing to focus on where I wanted to go and have my vision of where I wanted to go, but also take action. So it wasn't just a vision. It was like I was really, really wanting it. And the more I could see it, it was focused on that. And of course, that's not all. So that's one piece that's important. Another important piece is being really consciously aware of not immersing yourself in the negativity. So even that is something that I definitely did during my injury, but all of the time, if it's like going back to the example of speaking French. If you immerse yourself in that, and of course, speaking French is a great thing, But if you immerse yourself in something, your brain starts holding on to it. And so often when negative things are happening, people will immerse themselves into something and then wonder why they're feeling down all of the time. And so it's like you've got to be cautiously aware of what you put in your brain. And by the way, even to this day, I do not consume a bunch of negative things into my mind. I treat my mind like it's one of the most valuable things that I have, the most valuable thing that I have, because it is. It feels like it's everything. It's happiness, it's love, it's connection, it's healing, it's joy, it's everything. And for everybody, and so I take good care of my mind, and I don't dump a bunch of negativity into it. So that's another thing. Now, another thing that you can do is purposely amplify and bring in positive emotions on purpose. And it's not just positive thinking. So often people say, well, I'm going to think positive. I'm just going to think positive about that. I'm just going to think positive. But that doesn't really have a positive feeling to it. And for us to get positive feelings in that really matter, we've got to really put them in. So sometimes people will say, just go do things that you love. And that's nice and all, but let's be honest. If you go do things that you love, but you're still feeling heavy inside, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. If you've ever been there before where you felt heavy and you try to do something that you love and you still are just suppressing other emotions and the negativity. And so instead, you really want to amplify emotions on purpose. So even if you are thinking about somebody you love, sit there and stew on it in a positive way. And what I mean by stew on it is if you think about negative emotions, where sometimes something negative happens and somebody goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. And they're stewing on it, or they're frustrated and they're stewing over it, ruminating over it, that feeling. So instead, do that over the positive on purpose. Start bringing that in, feeling that, to help start creating that shift. That is a few things that you could do. And if you can start doing that, that can help make a bigger difference. Now, I do want to be very honest, because so often you hear things with the mind all the time where people say, well, just think positive. And it seems so simple. And I don't want to be like that, where I'm saying, oh, this is all you need to do. This is a fantastic start. This can absolutely be helpful, multiple insights. So even if you just took one insight, could it be helpful? Absolutely. Now, are there more things that you could do? Yes, because let's be honest, the mind can also block you from bringing in positivity if it's wired in a way at a deeper level to do so, which is a whole deeper dive training on the subconscious mind. So I don't want to say this is everything you need to do and just be one of those people that just says, just think positive, and it falls flat. Because there are ways that your mind can block you from bringing in the positive. And I see that all of the time. And a way to think about it is also like this, is if you think about a writer with writer's block, where a writer with writer's block is trying to think about what to write. So our minds can absolutely block us from information. It can block you from feeling love or positivity or whatnot. And that, of course, is deeper programming that would take a much longer to go into. But my point is that ultimately, I don't want to say this is everything. It's not. But if you just look at these 3 simple insights, and if you look at how you could apply them to your life, could it be helpful? Could it make progress? Could it help you get on track and stay in a positive place, or get your mind towards a positive place? It absolutely can. Does it take some work? It does. But think about this for a moment. If somebody gave you the love of your life, or the best life for your children, or $10 million to follow through with this and make sure that you're happy, would you? Well, likely for most people, if it's what they really want, yes, the healing or happiness or life or whatnot. So my point is it does take effort. Absolutely, but it's worth it. So often people might approach their mindset where they say, oh, I'm just going to think positive, or I'm just going to meditate or whatnot. And all of those things could be nice. But when we put more effort into it and we really prioritize it and are consciously aware of what we're doing with the mind and really put the effort there, it's so rewarding. It's life-changing. It is absolutely life-changing. And so just food for thought, just because I know that right now there are a lot of people who are feeling stress or heaviness in the world. And I want to remind you, don't get sucked in. You're worth it, and your mind is worth it, to protect it, to be good to it, to keep it in the positive, to take it to the next level. So I've been there. I've seen so many people who have been there in a really bad place in a variety of different ways, who came up and came out of it. And so just food for thought for you. Those are the quick insights for today's quick IQ episode. And as always, please do take just a quick moment to hit the share button on this episode. Share it with somebody you love, somebody you care about, or somebody you don't even know. Because the more that every single person in our world feels healthy and happy and loved and loving, truly the better this world is for all of us. So please do take just a quick moment to hit the share button. And also, if you are somebody who wants a deeper understanding of mind-body healing or transformational course, I have courses available, and I have a free training, a link in the show notes. So doing whatever you need to support you, I have that support available. And as always, I wish you an incredible rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. We'll see you there.